welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do something a little different for you today. No fishing. I wanted to do a walk around in my Lund Renegade 1875. When I was in the market to buy it, it was hard to find any kind of good footage that showed the detail that I wanted to see. All the videos I found were dealer made and they didn't show as much depth as I was really looking to find out. So thought I'd take this opportunity to walk around the boat and show you the things I like, show you the things I don't like, give you an honest review. So let's take a look. So let's start off briefly by talking about the trailer. It's a Shorelander trailer. I've seen a lot of negative reviews on these Shorelander trailers, but to be honest with you, I think those reviewers have never owned a Bear trailer, because I love this Shorelander trailer compared to the Bear trailer that I had with my G3 boat, which is the boat that I traded in to get this boat. I did not opt for the galvanized trailer. I don't do very much saltwater fishing or brackish water fishing, but if you do, I would highly recommend getting the galvanized trailer. But this trailer, compared to my Bear trailer, which is all I have it to compare to, is one heavy-duty son of a gun. I'm really happy with it. No complaints so far. Water seems to drain from it nicely. The bunk boards are a lot heavier and thicker pieces of wood than what were on the Bear trailer. And overall, I have no complaints. Also, the Shorelander does come with the bearing buddies. Some trailers do. Again, my Bear trailer did not. This is a nice feature. All you gotta do is pop this cap off, pump some grease in there, you're good to go. Another thing about the Shorelander trailer, it comes with these guides. Kind of a nice feature, helps a little bit when you're aiming the boat, getting it onto the trailer. It is the one and only thing that rattles when you're driving down the road. You hear that jingling around. This here's the transom saver. Now this boat did not come with the transom saver. I insisted my dealer add it. It basically hooks in right down here, and you give it a little twist, and easy to use. They use those ones that just hook onto the piston here. I don't like them. I don't think they do much to save your transom. I wasn't comfortable with it. I insisted my dealer add one, which he did free of charge. Speaking of my dealer, I'm not endorsed by them in any way, but I'm going to give them a shout out. Reading Boat Works, Reading, Pennsylvania. Great bunch of guys. If you're in this area and you're looking to buy a Lund boat, definitely go see them. They took great care of me. Been very happy with them. Another thing this trailer came with, again, I don't know if it's a standard feature, if the dealer did it, but it's these boat buckles. I really like those. You don't have to worry about forgetting your tie downs or anything like that, leaving them in your truck. They're on the trailer, ready to go. They work great. Quick release here, pull it tight here, lined up perfectly with the eyelet. Really nice feature to have. LED lights on the trailer also. I do think most trailers these days are coming with LEDs, but they're nice to have. This boat came equipped with a ladder, which is probably something that I wouldn't have got had I ordered the boat. I should mention, I was originally looking to buy a Lund Renegade 1775, but to get one I would have had to order it directly from Lund, and likely would have had to wait until 2024. My dealer had this 1875 on the lot in stock, and he made me a really good deal on it. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think I probably would have been unhappy with the 1775 now that I have this boat. My Lund has come equipped with the Mercury Pro XS 115, which is the largest motor that you can equip on the 1875. It currently has a 4-blade 17 pitch prop. When I first got it, it had a, shoot, now I don't remember, it was either an 18 or a 19 pitch. My dealer recommended the 17 pitch. He thought it would get up on plane a little quicker. Not that I really had any problems getting this boat up on plane. Top speed with the pitch I had that I got out of this boat, and this is GPS speed, not speedometer speed, was 47 miles an hour. GPS speed, top speed was 47 miles an hour. With this prop, I lost a little bit of top speed. I'm around 45, 46. but I have more torque, more power with a bigger load. If I'm carrying people, it gets up on plane quicker. But again, this boat gets up on plane fantastic anyway. But the main thing that was different is with the 17 pitch, I'm getting up to 6,000 RPM, which is what the boat should be getting. And with the other one, I was only getting 5,000 RPM. Also want to mention the spare tire on the trailer. I don't know if that is a standard feature or not. This trailer had it on it. I know when I bought my G3 with the crappy Bear trailer, it did not come with one. It was a dealer add-on. That dealer did not give me anything for free. They charged me for the spare tire. I'm not going to drive on the road, especially long highway trips, without a spare. Okay, so let's hop into the boat and I'll show you some of the features inside. All right, so we're going to start at the front of the boat. Let's start with the trolling motor. Obviously, you can put any trolling motor on the boat you want. I happen to have a Garmin Force trolling motor, which I am pretty happy with. I had this trolling motor on my old boat. This review is not about the trolling motor, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. But my opinion is it has the spot lock, which is a pretty nifty feature. But I'll be honest with you, if I had it to do all over again, I don't know that I would spend the money for it. I would maybe opt for talons or power poles or something of that nature and go with a little bit cheaper trolling motor. I'm not saying I have any complaints about it. The one thing that I think a lot of people don't keep in mind is that when using spot lock, although it'll keep your boat in one place, it will not necessarily point you in the direction that you want to be pointed, because it's a victim to whatever direction the wind is going. If I did more offshore fishing, which I don't do a lot of, I'm trying to improve on that a little bit, I would probably have a lot more use. But for the shallow water type fishing I do, I think talons or power poles or something would have been a better option. It is nice when you hook a fish that you can hit the spot lock and fight the fish and not have to worry about where your boat's going to end up. It's also really nice if you want to retie lures or what have you. The other thing I really like about the motor is it is an 80-pound thrust. I run two 12-volt Group 31 AGM batteries, and I can get a top speed when I'm by myself of 4.5 miles an hour, and with somebody with me about 4 miles an hour. And that might not be important to some people, but where I live in southeastern Pennsylvania, I would say 80 to 90% of the bodies of water that we fish are electric motor or horsepower regulated lakes. And when you're using your motor to get to your fishing spot, how fast it is pretty important. I also have the Garmin EchoMech 93 SV. Had a lot to do with my choice to choose the Garmin trolling motor. They do work together. There's a lot of features that you can use, chart plotting and following contours and things of that type of nature with where you have the trolling motor tied in with the fish finder. So that's a nice added feature. Another thing to mention is the foot control is wireless. You can hardwire it if you choose. We went with wireless, although I do think I might decide to bolt it down rather than this, because I have to make sure I remember to put this somewhere when I'm trailering the boat so that I don't hit a bump and lose my foot pedal. Let's move on to the fishing seats on this Lund. This is going to be the first thing that I'm going to complain about with this boat. I'm not real happy with the seats that Lund has changed to. Their older seats, I think, were a much higher quality. They had aluminum hinges and so forth. As you can see, this part is all plastic. I think it's kind of cheap. It just kind of cheapens the boat. I think Lund makes a high quality boat, and they went to this seat. It is fancy looking. It is very, very comfortable. I won't argue that. This lumbar support has popped out a couple times. It's held in with some metal and plastic clips. I'm afraid one of those clips is eventually going to break. I also don't like that there's no way to snap the seat down, which a lot of other boats have. So when you're under power, it pops up. As you can see, I've rigged it up with a bungee. So that issue has been solved. It's not a big deal, but it's one that I don't like. The other thing I don't like is this pole threads into this plate, and it tends to come loose when you're sitting there. So what I ended up doing, you can kind of see it sticking out of the side here a little bit, is I took a rubber O-ring. I need to get a little bit smaller one, but that seems to keep it so that it does not back out during a day's fishing. Prior to doing that, I would have to stop fishing and retighten this seat post, I would say half a dozen times a day during a normal day of fishing. Okay, now let's look at some of the storage. We're going to start with the biggest compartment, which is on the left front of this boat. As you can see, I have it loaded with life jackets, a fishing net, my lights, a bunch of stuff, but it goes back underneath the console there pretty far. Holds a lot of stuff. Really wonderful. Had I opted for the 1775 boat, this compartment would have been much smaller. This holds a lot of stuff. I could still fit more things in there if I needed to. Very happy with the storage in this boat. We flip over to the other side. We have two compartments. First one, I keep most of my tackle. Got room for a whole hell of a lot more tackle. Second one, I keep my soft plastics. It also goes back under the console quite a ways. Don't know if you can see if it's dark in there, but tons of storage, tons of room to do things, and that's just at the front of the boat. I'm going to show you the rod locker next, which I really love. Okay, so now onto the rod locker. Center mounted. I think the older Lunds had it over on the left hand side. On the newer models, they've moved it to the middle. It holds, I believe it is 10 rods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, there's spots for 10 rods. Some people do not like these guides up front where you can put the individual rods in. They take them out because they can hold more rods that way, although 10 is plenty for me. And in my opinion, you could probably put 2 rods into each hole if you really wanted to. Underneath of this cover here, which I will take off in a minute and show you because that was one of the things that the walkthroughs I saw in the past did not show, is where my trolling motor batteries are. As you can see, the charger is down underneath here. I'll show you that a little closer after I take the rods out, and I'll show you what's inside of there. So with the magic of video, let me get the rods out for you. Okay, so now we have the rods out. You can see a little closer. Down here is my charger. It's a 3-bank charger. It charges my trolling motor batteries, which I'm going to show you in a minute, are underneath of here, and it charges the main starter battery in the back. My trolling motor batteries are both AGM. The starting motor is a regular lead acid battery. This is a Gen Pro 10x3. I think it's a 15 amp, I believe, but it does a wonderful job. It's a smart charger. I just come home, I put it in the garage, I plug it in, and I forget about it. It's on, it turns itself on and off as needed, and it works great. Now, to see the batteries, you better lift up here. They're under here. I have the VMAX charge tanks. Fantastic batteries, been very happy with them, a lot of power. They last all day, even if I'm using the trolling motor as my moving motor. I think Lund is one of the few, if only, that mounts the batteries up front like this. I think that's part of the reason that this boat gets up on planes so well and rides so fantastic, having that weight up front rather than at the back of the boat. One more thing I wanted to mention, I forgot to do it while I had the rods and everything out. In the event that I wanted to go 36 volt, which the Garmin Force can run without any problem, that's another nice feature of the Garmin Force over other brands of trolling motors. Other brands, you've either got to buy the 24 volt or the 36 volt. This Garmin will work either way. It automatically detects what's coming to it and it works accordingly. So I have had thoughts of adding a third battery. There is room right here where the charger is. So I could certainly do that. Would maybe have to move the charger up front or into this compartment over here, but I could add a third battery if I wanted to run 36 volt. So now onto the passenger side console. Another feature, had I ordered this boat, I probably would not have ordered that console. It does take up maybe a foot of front deck space on the one side, not a huge amount. There is a big advantage to it though. It does give you this glove box, which is really deep. It's where I keep my rain gear, various other things, owner's manuals, important papers. It's lockable. It's where I put my Garmin when I'm trailering. Got a cup holder up here, windscreen. It is nice for passengers. They got a hold-on grab bar here. I don't hate it. I don't know that I would have ordered it, but I don't hate it. I think the added storage is definitely a bonus. Okay, onto the driver's side console. You've got your speedometer and your fuel gauge right there. Semi-accurate. Those speeds I was telling you were GPS based on the Garmin, not off of the speedometer. Speedometers on these things tend to be a little inaccurate. We have a 12-volt port here, USB ports here, which are nice for running the GoPro, charging your phone, so forth. I think I'd have rather had USB ports on both spots. Who uses a cigarette lighter anymore? But I do have an adapter that goes into there, and I can add more USB ports that way. I have the tilt steering, another feature that's kind of nice, but I probably would not have ordered had I ordered the boat. As you can see, I have no fish finder here. I do intend to mount a bracket. What I think I'm going to do is move my fish finder back and forth from here to the front as needed. Just need to put a transducer in the back and put a mounting bracket here, and because that fish finder pops right off of the bracket, let me show you that once real quick here. It's easy to move. There's a clip back here. See if I can do this one-handed. Pull that back, and you can take your Garmin off and move it wherever you want. Really nice feature. Plugs right into here. Definitely like that about these. Okay. Back to here. On this side, you have your RPMs and your trim. You have your nav light switch, your live well switch, your recirculation switch for the live well, master power, bilge, interior lights, and a horn. This boat is equipped with interior lights. Obviously can't show you at nighttime, but they are up under the rail here. I don't know if you can see them, but they run up to here. I think it would have been nice if they went all the way around the boat, but they're pretty bright. They're LED, and if you're fishing at night, it at least gives you some light up there so you can see the tie lures and so forth. This boat was equipped with the radio, the kicker, I believe they call it. Again, another feature I probably would not have ordered, but it's nice to have. I have no complaints. The speakers are right here and there. They're fine. You got to turn the radio up pretty loud to hear it if you're fishing from the front of the boat, which makes it a little too loud for somebody fishing on the back of the boat. This boat has a 5-person, 750-pound capacity. As you'll see, there's plenty of room to carry 5 people, which I'm going to show you here shortly. Now these seats are the same as the fishing seats. They're mounted on these poles. You have this sunken deck on the 1875. The 1775 did not have this. The 1775 has your traditional bench seat that would go across the back with the live well right behind it. I like this design much better. Again, I don't know if this is exclusive to Lund, but it's definitely a pretty neat feature. Most bass boats aren't like this. Again, I think it contributes to weight distribution, gets you a little lower in the boat. I like it. I like it. It's also really good if you got the kids with you. You don't want them up on the deck. They can be down below. All right. Now, in here, we have a cooler, which does come with the boat. It does come out if you would rather use this just as storage. Right now, I've got so darn much storage, I don't know what to do with all of it. So for now, I'm using it as a cooler. which is about the perfect size for 1 or 2 people going out a day of fishing. You can throw a couple sandwiches, a few sodas or iced teas or what have you. Really nice. Now, these jump seats. This is also a neat feature. 1775 does not have this. This lifts up. And over here, this lifts up. Now when you want to take the grandkids fishing, you got 4 or 5 people on the boat. You got seats for almost everybody. Really nice. In addition to that, more storage underneath each seat. As you can see, I keep some stuff in there. Over on this side, same thing. I keep a lot of my tie downs and so forth in here. Really nice. Great feature. Another cup holder here, cup holder here, cup holder here. Really nice layout. Up here we have room for 4 more rods. Usually if you're bringing somebody with you, you see you've got 4 holes up here. I don't know if it's too dark under there, if you can see it. And they run up here. You can strap them down with this. So it's just a nice place to put 4 more rods. They're out of the way. I've since added a tie down in the back here also. So you can lay rods across the back for the fishermen in the rear. So there's plenty of room. He could put 3 or 4 or 5 rods across there. He could put 4 rods here, depending on how many he's got. They all can be tied down for when you're under power. Works out really well. Now let's look at the live well. I forget how many gallon this is. I'll have to look it up and then I'll put it on the screen here when I edit the video. But it's a nice sized live well. You can leave this divider in like I do if you want, or you can take it out. It's got the recirculating pump as well as the regular live well features. Perfect, all you need. Same problem on the rear seat. Also added the O-ring. I need to find some smaller O-rings or some kind of a gasket or something that I'm going to put in there so that it doesn't come loose all the time. I leave the posts in. I do take the seats off of the post when I'm trailering, and I lay them down on the floor underneath here. By the way, on the floor underneath here, this is a trash bag that I added. It's simply hanging there. Kind of a neat feature. I got it on Amazon. Pretty cheap. I'm sure you could find something similar to it. I used to throw all my trash into the cooler, but now I have some place to put my trash. Right here is where you fill your fuel tank. We'll have to look up what gallon the fuel tank is too, but it is huge, I will tell you that much. And back here is where your main starter battery is. So this battery runs basically everything except for the trolling motor. Those front 2 batteries run the trolling motor and nothing else. This battery runs your starter, your gauges, your live well, your pumps, the graph, everything. Probably a little bit of storage in there if you needed to throw more things in. I keep my fuel treatment in there, so it's where I can get to it. But perfect. This way you don't have all this weight in the back of the boat like you do with a lot of others. Works really nice. Another feature that Lunds have on, I think, most if not all of their boats is this rail here. I've seen something similar to that on kayaks. I did fish from a kayak for a few years before I finally got my first bass boat. And what you can do is you can buy accessories that slide into this, and you could have rod holders or cup holders or anything you want. Pretty nice feature. I'm not utilizing it for anything yet, but I may someday down the road. Also like the way that the tie downs flip down out of the way, so they're nice and smooth when you're not using them, and when you're going to tie off to a dock, it's right there and ready to use. Okay, one more small complaint of this boat. I'll show you here. A lot of the features are held together by these screws here that have this tiny little square head. I would assume there was a tool somewhere out there that fits in that head, but I've not found one yet. Kind of dumb. If you look here, there's some more of it. They all use this square head. I did find a screwdriver in my toolbox that fits corner to corner to help keep these kind of things tight, but they use it throughout this boat. My brother's Lund is the same way. Again, I don't know why they did that. Did they want me to go buy their tool? I don't know. But kind of dumb. Just put a regular screw head on it. Phillips screw or a socket head or something that we can all use. A hex. Something normal. Right here you have your throttle control, forward and reverse. You also have the trim up and down button on the throttle. I think most boats are laid out this way. You have a kill switch down here, which you should attach to your life vest at all times when running the power motor. As with most engines, you have a power trim button here. You can trim the motor up and down from the back of the boat as well. Up front you have your plug for your trolling motor right there. You have a trim up and down for the motor, and you can turn your nav lights and your anchor lights on right from the front of the boat. Okay, so I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. Like I said, I'd looked for videos like this when I was in the market for this boat, and I couldn't find any that gave a whole lot of detail or honest opinions about things. Maybe after I have this boat for a year or two, I'll come back and do a 1-year review and see if I'm still as happy with it as I am. But as I said, overall, I'm very, very happy with the boat. Only complaint I've had thus far is the seats. Actually, I could add there were a few screws loose, things that I found I needed to tighten. Whether that was, something that was done at Lund or something that should have been done at the dealer, I don't know. Nothing major. For example, these shocks, which are a really nice feature, these bolts were loose. I had to tighten them up. I went around the whole whole boat, and pretty much every one of them was loose. Not a big deal, not a game changer, not a reason not to buy the boat. Just something to keep in mind. Maybe Lund needs to pay a little closer attention to their final inspection before they let their boats go out the door. But again, nothing big deal. The other thing I didn't mention is water tightness. Haven't had a lot of experience yet, but I have had the boat out in the rain and stuff a few times, and so far these compartments have all been dry. Nothing has gotten wet. So there you have it. That's my Lund boat. A couple little nitpicky things. For the most part, though, very, very happy with this boat.